Welcome to episode 9 of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah. If you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back. I appreciate it so much. If you are a new viewer, I'm so excited that you have decided to spend a little bit of your crafty time with me in my little corner of the internet. This is episode 9, as I said. I am coming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida in the United States, where it is currently a mild 95 degrees outside. So it's a little warm. Thankfully, we have air conditioning. If you are looking for me on social media, you can find me as the Cozy Cottage Crochet on YouTube, of course, Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is where I'm most active. On Ravelry, I do have a username as well, and it's just the Cozy Cottage. If you have any inquiries about the podcast specifically, please do shoot me an email. That is the best way to get a hold of me. I try to keep up with all of the social medias, but sometimes it gets a little crazy. So any questions, comments, inquiries about the podcast itself, please do shoot me an email at thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. Okay, so first of all, I have two things I want to cover really quickly before we get started. And the first thing is that the Creme de la Creme top, which was a giveaway that I had in the last episode, has been mailed out. Hopefully you received it, Joni, and you love it. And secondly, I want to give a very special shout out to a new yarny friend that I made on the internet, who so kindly gave me a gift. The gift that I received just out of the blue, someone who watches the podcast, who has watched it from the very first episode and has kind of followed along with the things I've been making, knew from me talking on Instagram and from talking on the podcast episodes itself that I wanted to learn how to do Tunisian crochet. That is on the list of things for me to learn how to do. And she so kindly gifted me a craftsy class. Now, I don't know if you've ever done a craftsy class. I have actually never done one until now. I've heard nothing but good things. I just had not had the opportunity to take one. So they're online courses put on by craftsy.com, which doesn't just do online crafts, online classes. They have yarn and supplies and all kinds of things. They do they do every kind of craft imaginable. I believe they even have cooking classes and like paper craft classes, cross stitch, crochet, knitting. And so what they are is they're video-based classes. You log in, you have as long as you want to complete them, and there is an actual instructor who's recorded the videos who you can communicate with if you have questions. So you get the actual video lessons, you get the patterns that you'll be making, and they'll have a list of materials for you. And I believe if you buy one and you don't like it, there's a 60-day return guarantee. So I had never taken one, and I wanted to learn how to do Tunisian crochet, and a very special lady named Barb, hi Barb, gifted me a craftsy class on Tunisian crochet, and I was over the moon. I was blown away. Barb, I don't know how to tell you thank you enough. That was so sweet, so kind of you. I would have probably never purchased that for myself, and I have already gone through part of the class and definitely learned more than if I was just trying to pick this up on my own. There is something to be said for having a teacher who knows what they're doing, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the craftsy class and my thoughts on it, and then I'll show you what I made from it. So the class is broken up into 3 projects. There's the Tunisian class specifically. There's a section on the first project you do, which is a washcloth. Then there's a second section, which I believe is the same washcloth done in color work or something similar. And then there is a multi-garment, which is a garment that you can wear as a scarf or a top or a wrap or anything you like. So there's 3 projects that you make during this class. I added up the video time, and it seems to me to be about 2 hours, maybe longer of the video time, maybe 3 hours. I should have written that down. But it's a lot of video time that you get with the instructor going over how to do the stitches. So in the first project, you actually learn how to do 3 stitches, and then you learn how to do your foundation row, how to bind off, and you can actually make video notes in the class. So if, say, you know you're going to have a problem binding off because it's just not working when you're doing it in the video, you can actually put a little bookmark on the video and always go back to that spot without having to search for it. You can ask questions. I went through the whole entire first lesson last week, and it was fabulous. I was very impressed by the quality of the class that Craftsy put on. So this is, let me show you what I made. I made a washcloth completely out of Tunisian crochet. So I don't know, it's been through the washer. It's still a little wrinkly. I haven't blocked it because it's a washcloth. Like, do you really need to have a perfectly blocked washcloth? I don't think so. This is Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton yarn. It took almost a whole ball, maybe 2/3 of a ball. I had some left over from the sweater that I made previously, the gray and yellow striped sweater, so I thought that would be perfect for a washcloth. She calls for silk in the Craftsy class, which I do not have, and I certainly would not make my first Tunisian project out of silk. But that's just me. If that's you, go ahead. So let me show you. You can definitely tell. Now look up here. These are my beautiful Tunisian crochet stitches. If you go down to the bottom, you can tell where I got better at it, because right here we've got this line, and it's very firm and tight stitches, neat stitches, and then it's like bloop. It's way bigger down in this corner. The stitches are much looser, and it's that way on both sides. So I don't know how well you can see this. Do it like this. This part is like pretty clean, and then it's got like it's got hips. My washcloth has hips because it goes out like that. You can definitely tell right here too. You could tell better before I washed it, but it's kind of just tightened up a little bit. Like right here, there's just a lot of extra loose yarn that the stitches should have been tighter. But of course I had never done it before, so I didn't know what I was doing. Like here's one right here. See that lump? That's a very, very loose stitch. So she starts you off with the foundation stitch, and I don't think I'm giving anything away by telling you this, but she has you start your foundation row by crocheting in the back loop of your starting chain, which I have never done before. And I don't know why. People do that all the time, and I've heard about it. I've just never bothered to do it. What it does is it gives you this perfect little edge. This right here, you don't get that if you work into the top bump of your starting chain. So if you work in the back, this edge then matches when you bind off the edge on the top. So I thought that was a really, really neat trick. So we've got, this is the Tunisian simple stitch down in the bottom. Then she teaches you Tunisian knit stitch, which is this one right here. That looks exactly like knitting to me, at least from the front. It does look a little different in the back. Then she teaches you Tunisian reverse stitch, which is what creates this very bumpy texture. And then you do knit stitch, reverse stitch, and then kind of repeat the pattern. That's what makes those squares. And then at the top, she teaches you how to bind off. It's pretty fabulous. This did take me quite a while. First of all, Tunisian crochet seems to be it's slower than regular crochet. I don't know if it's slower than knitting or not, because I haven't knitted in years. I can't remember if it's slower than knitting, but the reason that it's slower is because you do a forward pass, and then you have all the loops on your hook, and then you do a backwards pass. So you're really crocheting the same row twice. This is the front, and this is the back. So you still do have some texture on the back as well. And this right here is the back of the knit stitches. So you can see that It looks slightly like pearl, but it's very, very bumpy. Like you don't get this in pearl when you're knitting and purling. So that's this is a finished object. It's my finished washcloth, which I'm so excited about. I haven't used it yet because I've been saving it, but it's going in my shower. My fancy spa washcloth. I mean, it's not that fancy. It's made in Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton. But I am so proud of this washcloth. You have no idea. And the class was fantastic. I have not started lesson 2 yet, color work. I don't have any yarn to make another washcloth with, so I'm going to have to obtain some of that before I start the next project. I think I'll need at least 3 colors. But I'm going to start that hopefully soon, and then eventually start that multi-garment, which will teach you all kinds of Tunisian crochet stitches. So that was really, really lovely. I can't thank you enough, Barb. That was so sweet of you. And I feel like I know how to do Tunisian crochet now, even though I only know 3 stitches. I have already started a project, which you'll see later. The next segment is kind of 2 segments in one, because of course the next segment is, as usual, what am I wearing? But this is also a finished object. Let me scoot back so you can see it. This is a tank top. It is the Make It Mint tank top from Simply Crochet magazine that I have been working on the last few weeks. I'll stand up so you can see it. I made this out of the leftover yarn from my Hotel V shawl. So we've got, this is Premier Yarns Cotton Fair. I had this one down here. Last week I could not remember what the ball band, I thought I'd lost the ball band, but I have since found it. It was in pieces, but the colorway is called Cloud Gazing. We have this much left now. I don't know how much this is, I didn't weigh it, but like, that's maybe, I don't know, 30 yards, maybe 20, probably 20. So I used that color. Then I did blue, which the colorway is just blue, for the same amount of pattern repeats as I did in the Cloud Gazing, and then I finished the top off with white. This is how much I have left in the blue, which looks like more than it is because I was pulling out of the outside and the inside of the ball as well. So this whole inside right here is collapsed. There's no yarn in it, so it's not very much. And then I have about this much white left. Oh, that's blowing out like crazy with the light. So I really like it. I like the, I don't know if you can see, I like the length of the armholes. I don't like something to be like right up here. That is uncomfortable to me. I kind of wish that this neckline was a little bit lower. And I know it has this keyhole detail, which you could leave open, but I think that kind of looks weird. I think I would have preferred, if I made this again, to have this stop like right here. Let's just have a little more breathing room. And then I'm not quite sure it's long enough. It would be long enough for a normal person, but I have a rather long torso. Now I already increased the pattern by 3 repeats. So I lengthened it by this much, and it still sits right here. So my belly button is right here. And it's like, I would have liked another inch, maybe an inch or 2, because if I raise my arms too high, it's going to ride up a little bit. So I don't know. I do really like it, and I'm going to keep wearing it. I'm really happy that it's done. It's something I can wear during the summer, which it is right now. It's very hot outside. If I were going to make it again, I think I would modify the pattern to be a little lower in the neckline and a little bit longer. But it does fit, so I'm not unhappy with it. The pattern was pretty nice too. I made a size small. Normally I'm a large, but the yarn I was using was slightly thicker, so therefore the hook I was using was slightly thicker, and it was this Premier yarn is a cotton acrylic blend. It's 50-50 cotton acrylic, so I knew it was going to block out differently than plain cotton. So plain cotton, you want to make sure it fits you. It's not going to stretch really unless you did that by accident. But acrylic yarn, you can pin out, make it longer. So I really aggressively blocked this to open up the lace. It was kind of scrunched up before, and to make it longer. I couldn't block it any more than it got blocked. Like, it was very aggressive. I used like 150 pins or something like that. So I went a little overboard on the blocking. It's okay. If I could have gotten another inch out of it, that would have been great, but it's okay. I'm happy with this top, and I think it looks great. It's so, I don't know, it's so unique. It's like something else no one would have. So that's finished object number 1. I actually do have another finished object, which you will have seen me just starting last time. It is the Colosseum shawl by Faye of the Crochet Circle podcast. It is in her Take Two book that she did with Lynn. And this is the shawl. Ooh, there you go. That's also Faye, by the way. I don't know if you want me showing your picture off on the interwebs, Faye, but you have a podcast, so I guess it's okay. She did hers in a 4-ply yarn, one skein version. I made mine out of Mandala, Lion Brand Mandala yarn in the colorway Pegasus. Now, for the Lion Brand Mandala yarn, you get 590 yards in 150 grams. I love Mandala yarn. I know a lot of people have gone crazy for it. I am one of those people. This is the second thing I have made out of Mandala yarn. It is, if you can find it, it's definitely worth it. The only places I have ever been able to find it have been at Walmart and very sporadically. So originally I got, I can't remember what the other colorway was when I made my sunset shawl out of it, my sunset granny stripe shawl, and then I had this other ball of Pegasus yarn that I was just hoarding, waiting for the right project to come along. And it did in the Colosseum. So let me show it to you. So it's, now, because I'm using a larger yarn and a larger hook, this is not so much a shawl or a shawlette as a scarf. See how long it is? So this is the main part of the scarf, and then I've still got all of this, all these tails. It starts out with this pink, and then it goes into like a dusky pink, and then light purple, all the way into blue, and then it finishes off with white. And I used almost the entire 590 yards. I maybe had this much left of the white. So it was not a lot. I have worn this. I think it's fabulous. It's a little too warm to wear right now in Florida because it is 95 degrees and this is acrylic yarn. It's not bamboo, it's not cotton, it's not something that would be super light. So it's a little warm. I have to stay inside if I'm going to wear this, but I love it. It's so long. If I live somewhere cold or if I go somewhere cold, I could just keep wrapping it. And it's so light, like I can breathe. It's not choking me. Everything's fine. I love the colors. See how long it is? This color gradient is everything. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I want to say when I wore it like, I don't even remember how I wore it. I like looped it once, something like that. The pattern is super well written, very easy to follow. This yarn blocks up wonderfully and you can wash it and dry it. So I threw this in the washer. You think it's soft originally, and then once you throw it in the washer or the dryer, it becomes like unicorn hair. Probably you've never felt unicorn hair because unicorns don't tend to make appearances in real life. So let me say baby hair, like it's really soft. And it blocks out Just look at the stitch definition. So good. It's so good. I'm so happy with it. That's my second finished object. I have never actually used the linen stitch before, which is what this stitch is. I think it's fabulous. I really, really, really like it. So I'm thrilled with the pattern. I'm thrilled with the end result. I can't wait until maybe November when it gets a little bit cooler than 90 so that I can wear this more regularly. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Lion Brand, for your fantastic mandala yarn. And thank you, Faye, for a most lovely pattern. That is finished object number 2. Now, I'm going to move on to whips because I have another Colosseum. So that was the Colosseum shawl, but I also have the TWO Colosseum, which is the 2 skein version by Faye. It's just bigger. So the Colosseum shawl is worked from the top down. You make one long strip and then you go in until you get to a point. The TWO Colosseum is worked from a small part out into a larger shape. Let's see if I can find it. This is a good picture right here. It's much bigger. The yarn I'm using for this, I showed you guys last week. It's the Barocco Modern Cotton DK, which you get 335 yards per 100 grams. I have the colorway Weatherill, which is blue, and Rose Cliff, which is pink. And I did actually get some progress done on this. This is what I have so far. So right here, sorry, it's a little crumply. It's been in my bag. This is where you start, and then you increase out from there. So one side increases less than the other. This is the side with the smaller increases, and this is the side, ooh, with the larger increases. So it's already, again, this is a larger yarn than she calls for. It's already my wingspan. And it's gonna get bigger. So I just started the 3rd section. I really, really like it though. I love the color changes. I think that's fantastic. Let me show you a close-up because I'm excited about it. I love the blue, and then the pink is like, it is like a rose pink. The only thing I can say is I'm definitely going to run out of yarn. This is how much pink yarn I have left, which should be enough to get me through the next pink section. But I already only have this much blue. There's no way I'm going to get the whole shawl finished because I don't have as much yarn as she called for, even though she called for 2 skeins. Her skeins had more yardage because it was fingering weight yarn, I believe, and mine is DK weight. So I'm using a slightly larger hook. I'm using a 3.25 millimeter hook on this, and she calls for a 3 millimeter. So my yarn is a little bigger, my hook is a little bigger, and I'm going to run out of yarn. But I still think my finished shawl is going to be bigger, bigger than hers. But I'm really excited about it. It's a very meditative kind of a project because it's all linen stitch mostly until you get to this part right here. So you just kind of sit, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. It's awesome. And I love, like, linen stitch is super dense, but then when you pull on it, it's like super cool. So this is my second Colosseum, TWO Colosseum. Work in progress number 1. Work in progress number 2 is an update on my purple pillow top. If you were with me last time, you will know that I saw this pillow in the Love of Crochet Summer magazine, Summer 2017. It's called the Coral Cabana Pillow, and I thought that pattern was fabulous. But I don't want a pillow. I want to wear things. So I have this yarn, which is Patons Metallic, In dark purple, you get, who knows how much, I can't find it. It's 85 grams, 252 yards. So I thought that I would make the top out of this purple, or make the pillow pieces and then do some shaping to make it into a top. So I have made a little bit of progress. Last time I think I had one piece that was like 4 rows complete. So this one's 5 rows complete now. And this one is also 5 rows complete. So I have 2 of the exact same, front and back. This is the close-up of the pattern. You can even see how shiny it is. I love the metallic yarn. I don't know how long I'm gonna make it. I'm just kind of measuring as I go against my body. I have this much. I've been making it out of one ball, so I have, the same amount left. Although I just discovered this yesterday when I sat down to work on this. This is what a normal piece of this looks like. And then right in the middle of the ball is, like, what is that? It's like spaghetti. It's all thin and twisted, and it's not the same. Okay? So I think I'm going to have to cut part of this ball out, because it's not going to look very good. I don't think I can hide. If it was just a few inches, maybe a foot of that, I could hide it. But it's probably, there's several wraparounds of this ball, of this thin spaghetti yarn. So we'll see. We'll see. I have, after those 2 balls are done, I have 3 more, which I'm hoping that the 4 balls will be enough to get the main body done, and then 1 ball will be enough to do some kind of neck shaping and straps. If not, I don't know, I'm gonna have to rethink my whole plan. So that's work in progress number 2. It's purple. I really, really like it. I think purple is a good color for me. Some colors are not good colors for me, like pastels. I can wear them like as an accent, but as a whole top, I feel like they just wash me out. Just my skin tone doesn't, I look like a ghost, basically, is what I'm saying. Whereas bright colors, I feel like work. They work somehow. What do you think? I'm sorry, was that too much? Was that me getting too close to the camera? Okay. Work in progress number 2. Done. Work in progress number 3 is something that I did not have started last week. And I'm so excited to show it to you that I'm beside myself. Because it is a Tunisian shawl. Now, last week you will remember that I had said I wanted to make this Tunisian shawl out of the same magazine. However, I decided I need a little bit of practice before I start. That's with lace weight yarn, which is fine, but lace weight yarn is fiddly enough without adding the fact that I don't know what I'm doing. So I decided to make the Tunisian shawl out of the summer shawl booklet from Simply Crochet magazine that they put out last year. Once I'm finished with this shawl, I will have officially made every shawl in the book. There's 5 of them. Let me just show them to you really fast. There's this one, which I've made. This one, I made that at the very beginning of the podcast. I've made 2 of these. And then there's this one. This is the Tunisian one. I guess that would be 4, because I've made 2 of these. This is also a pattern. So these 2 right here are not patterns that are in the book. They're patterns you can go buy. This one I have not made, but it is on my list. So this Tunisian one is the one I'm making right now. Let me show you. This is the Tunisian shawl. It's made with Tunisian knit stitch. The pattern is by Elizabeth Davis de Herreis? I'll put it down below. I'm so sorry if I just butchered your name. It calls for, I believe, a sport weight yarn. not only do I not have any sport weight yarn because I've been making so many tops out of it, I wanted to use up some stash yarn. And mostly what is in my stash is acrylic worsted weight yarn, because either people have given it to me, or I've gotten it for a blanket project, or I've just had it from when I first learned how to knit and crochet. And I don't want to get rid of it because I feel like it could be used, but what am I going to do with it? Like, it just sits there in my closet and makes me feel bad every time I look at it. So I decided to pull out some of that yarn. You guys, I can't even tell you how excited I am to show you what I have done. It's hard to see actually because it kind of rolls up on itself. And this red, for some reason, anytime I try to take a picture of this red, and you maybe have seen it on my Instagram photos, it takes over the whole photo. This is not what the actual red looks like. Like, the camera is blowing this out. It's a very true, deep red. I mean, it's like stop sign red, but in the camera it looks kind of pink to me, which is not at all what it looks. So the colors work a lot better if I fold that over and just show you this part. And this isn't showing up right either. This is like a emerald green, a very brilliant green. This is all stash yarn. I do not have ball bands for any of this. I want to say that all of these yarns are Big Twist Sincerely yarns, which is a Joanne Fabrics line of yarns. And all of these except the red one I have had in my stash for years. In fact, I've had it so long that they actually discontinued the yarn, took it away completely, because it used to be called Sincerely Yarns. They took it away, stopped making it, rebranded it as Big Twist yarn, and brought it back. So this colorway right here is old Sincerely yarn, so is this green, and so is this blue. The red one is from last year. It's the Big Twist yarn. I needed it for something, and I ended up only using maybe 10 grams or something, but I got it on sale, so it's okay. So this is like knitted stockinette stitch. It's very hard. I can't get it to lay flat. It's gonna have to be blocked. I think it will be okay once it's blocked because it's acrylic, so it's gonna hold it. Let me show you. This is the knit stitches, and then it's got this break in the middle where you do kind of a lace pattern. Then you do another panel of knit stitches, and then you do another lace pattern. And then you do another panel of knit stitches, and that's where I am. I was trying to coordinate this and do red with a blue stripe, blue with a red stripe, and have this green be the lace panels, but I've run out of yarn. Tunisian crochet takes a lot of yarn. So I have this much blue yarn left, which is not a lot. I don't even know if that's enough to get 3 rows. We'll see. So I picked up with this lighter blue yarn, which I am almost out of. That's probably another 2-3 rows. I do have this much of the red left. Ugh, that red is killing me. It's killing me with the blowing it out. It looks better from back there. I have another blue, but this is not the same blue. This is an older blue. And if I put them next to each other, you can tell this one is brighter. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use each color until I run out because it's a stash busting project, and then start up with the next color and use as much yarn as I can. This is very thick. Like, this is like a blanket, basically. And most crochet does not stretch this way very well. This especially does not have any sideways give. It does stretch this way. So knitting, true knitting, stretches a lot this way. And crochet stretches vertically. So you may ask, why in the world would I want to make a shawl that is so, so thick I'm going to suffocate in Florida if I wear it? Well, the answer is, where I work The office is basically Antarctica. I am not joking. I have a room where I train new employees, so I have a room with a bunch of desks in it that's empty if I'm not having a training class. I have a blanket that stays there all the time. I have fingerless gloves that I crocheted myself. I have a hoodie that stays there all the time. I have had employees come in and literally be shivering in their chairs. So before anyone comes into my room to get training, I always tell them to bring a jacket, bring a blanket, bring hot coffee, hot tea, because it is so cold in there. I will come outside after a day of work and just stand outside for a few minutes to defrost. So this, when it is done, is going to keep me warm at my job. I may have to keep going because, I can't even wrap it. It's just all roly-poly up on itself. That's what it does if I let it. It's going to take some serious pinning to block this out. I only have this much more to go up here, so I don't think it's going to be as big as I want it to be. So I think I'm just going to keep going. In pattern, it's very simple. You just increase on both sides, Tunisian knit stitch. I am so proud of these beautiful Tunisian knit stitches. And I am so thankful that I have a Craftsy class which showed me how to do them. And I've been practicing. Even my color changes look good. High five. I'm so excited. So that's my Tunisian project. Hopefully I'll have a good amount of progress to show you next time on that, because I'm just loving it. The only thing I will say is, someone had asked me, I did say I was going to give you a review on these Tunisian crochet hooks. This is the 6.5 millimeter interchangeable cable Tunisian crochet hook. Knitter's Pride that I showed off on the last episode. So I've had to get used to, first of all, working with stitches again, because I haven't knitted in so long. I'm not used to working with a needle and having yarn underneath my right hand, because in crochet you just only use the one stitch. So that has taken some serious getting used to. I did not have this problem with the shorter cable. This is like the 32-inch cable, I believe. There's one that's might be 24 inches. It had no problems right here, but this longer cable, I'm finding it catches just a little bit on the yarn. So I don't know, that may be something to consider. This number started to rub off immediately because it's just painted on. But someone, a lovely viewer from the last episode, suggested to paint a little bit of clear nail polish over top of it to keep it from rubbing off. So I did that, and it was perfectly fine. So no more problems. So if you have that problem, you have wood hooks, and the number is coming off of your crochet hook, just paint a little nail polish over it. It'll be perfectly fixed. The only other thing, I really like these. They're very light, which is important to me. The only thing I'm not really used to is, I don't know, it's not an ergonomic hook, and I use the clover hooks. I can't think of what they're called. They look like this. They have the rubber grip, and they're extremely light. They're made out of aluminum, and I cannot use heavy crochet hooks. So even some of the ones with polymer clay, they'll hurt my hand. If just the metal ones or plain wooden crochet hooks hurt my hand, because I have elbow problems, and I have very tight gauge. And sometimes I stretch crochet, which is the best thing to do when you're stressed out, but like, I will be like this on my hook, and my whole arm will just start killing me. So I know that, so I have to make a conscious effort to hold the hook gently, lightly, not to cramp my hands up and like have crochet claw after I'm done. If I'm doing this crocheting, I need to stop, take a breath, put my shoulders down. But I find myself, because I'm not used to doing Tunisian crochet yet, really holding this too tightly, and it gives me arm pain. So I've been doing just a little bit every day. I can't do more than maybe 20 minutes without taking a break, and which I assume will go up the more I learn how to do this, or maybe it won't. And maybe it'll be something that I can only do a little bit at a time. But either way, the result is beautiful. And I'm pretty happy with these hooks. This is the stopper. So they're interchangeable. And this just unscrews. So you can screw any cable onto any one of the 8 hooks that came in the set, and then put a stopper on the end, and you're good to go. Or you can put a stopper directly on the end of your hook if you don't need the cable for the amount of stitches. So I did that with this washcloth. I did not need a cable, and it was a lot easier to work with just the stopper on the hook. So I'm going to work on that, and then hopefully I'll be able to start this soon. I'm very excited. The last work in progress I want to show you, yes, there's one more. This is also something I started in the last episode, and it is the Sandy Shores shawl, which is also in the same magazine. I'm on this particular magazine. It's a kick right now. It's beautiful, by Melissa Liebman, and I am making it in pink with the Himalaya Perlina yarn. I've used this yarn for 2 projects now, a sweater and a cardigan, which I will show you next time. The Drops Design cardigan that you have not seen since I complained extensively about it. The very start of this podcast, several episodes ago. So I have 4 balls of this total, plus 2 gray balls, because I overbought previously. I don't think I'm going to have enough. I'm hoping, I got this yarn at Tuesday Morning, which is a store in the US that sells like overruns and things like that. So I'm hoping I can get a hold of another ball of it, because I don't think I'm going to have enough to finish. This is the project that I've worked on the most. It's the project that I have dedicated the most time to and the most love. I basically feel like I should call this my pure joy shawl, because I am so happy every time I work on it. It's another top down, so you start with a very long strip and then you start decreasing. This will be slightly asymmetrical. This is decreases on one side. This is the decreases on the other side. One of them is a more intense decrease than the other. So this is what I've done so far. It is finally starting to go a little bit faster because the rows are getting slightly smaller. I just love it. I can't wait until this is done, but I will tell you, I've been crocheting on this very slowly. I've been working on it for about 3.5 weeks now, and I think I probably could have been much further along if I wasn't taking my time, because I'm enjoying it so much. And it's a very simple 2-row repeat shell pattern. I don't know why I'm loving this project so much. Maybe it's the color, what the finished project is going to be. I didn't even plan on making this shawl until I was flipping through that book, the magazine, one day after I had already purchased it for another pattern, and this yarn was sitting next to me, and I was like, oh, it has to be that shawl. I'll give you a close-up of the pattern. You guys, I can't even. I don't even know how to describe how happy I am with this pattern. It's so beautiful. And this is what I'm going to do tonight when I'm watching TV, is this pattern. So you can see, though, I still have a fair way to go. If I fold this in half, woo, still have all of this that's got to decrease to a point. So I'm definitely going to run out of yarn because I have this and I have one more ball. I'm going to run out of yarn. I thought it would be okay. Oh, there was a small hiccup in that I have memorized the shell pattern, so I don't need to carry the magazine around with me. I've been doing this on a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. Well, for some reason, I took the 3.25 millimeter crochet hook out of the project bag for the TWO Colosseum and took it with me. So I did 6 rows of this in 3.25, and then I was feeling it, and I was like, this is really stiff. Like, this part is all soft and drapey, and this part's like cardboard. Yeah, it's because I used the wrong hook size. So I had to rip it out and redo 6 rows. So I'm almost back to the point where I started frogging. I have this much yarn left before I can start using the ball regularly again. So that's it's the Sandy Shores shawl. That's the pattern. But I love it. I can't wait till it's done. I'm going to have to go to Tuesday morning and hope and pray that they have another ball of yarn, because otherwise I'm going to have a very strangely shaped shawl that does not come to a point. That's all my works in progress. That's 4. 4 works in progress, 3 finished objects. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. I do have an acquisition that I wanted to share with you. It's not a big one, and I wasn't planning on it. But I was at Walmart. Oh my. So sorry. If you just felt nauseated because I just sent the computer spinning across the table. I'm very sorry. I don't have any depth perception. This is a problem in my life. I do not have any depth perception. And also my eyesight is terrible. So I wear contacts. But I am constantly running into things. Or like I will misjudge how far away something is from me. For example, my husband. It's a good thing he's a tough guy, because I literally punched him in the face one time. I wasn't trying to. I don't know what I was trying to do. I was trying to like reach for something, and he was there, and I thought that he was further away, and I just straight on, like, I wasn't like this, but I went like this, and I just knocked his glasses off of his face, and he was like, what are you doing? I can't see. I'm really sorry. So I can't see. Just yesterday, dweeb story. Just yesterday, I got out of bed in my room that I've lived in for a year and a half now. It was not dark outside, so there is no excuse. And I walked to the bathroom, and coming out of the bathroom, I walked right into the side of the bed frame. You would think that I would know where the bed frame is. I've been getting in and out of bed in this house for a year and a half. Can I figure out where the bed frame is? No. Now I have a giant bruise on my shin. That's just my life. So if you saw me knock the computer off reaching for this yarn, it's because I can't tell how far away the computer is. Story of my life. Anyways, that was a little waffly. I apologize. I was at Walmart for something. I don't remember what. And I was like, let me just check one more time to see if they have any Mandala yarn. I've checked at this Walmart multiple times, and they haven't had any. But look what they had. So this is $5 each. It's the same colorway. They just start at different pattern repeats. This is the colorway Gnome, and it's rainbow. They had 2 of these and then like a couple other colorways, and I didn't want to spend too much money, so I just grabbed these 2. I figured I could make a 2 skein project instead of a 1, like the other 2 shawls. This is definitely going to be a shawl, 100% going to be a shawl. I just don't know what shawl it is going to be yet. My gosh, you guys, look at this color. It'll be better if I do it back here. It's kind of blowing out if I get close. This one is even more. I love it. I love it. I am so excited to make something with these. So I spent $10 and I got some of my favorite yarn. I have heard that Lion Brand isn't going to make any more of, or be able to do another run of this until 2018. I hope that that's a lie because it hurts. I love that yarn so much. And it's so inexpensive, and it's a sport weight yarn. It is so hard to find sport weight, inexpensive yarn in big box stores. So the yarn is fabulous, first of all. The colorways are fabulous, and the weight of the yarn is fabulous. So I love Mandala yarn. But I was thrilled to find 2 balls of it. That's my acquisition. That's all. Didn't buy anything crazy. I think that's all. I say I think that's all like I didn't just spend an hour talking your ear off about yarn. So I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. You may notice this is a little bit different than the last podcasting spot I was in. The last couple of episodes, that's because no one is home. When no one is home, I get to play at the kitchen table where I think the light is much better. If people are in the house, it's just too noisy and I have to go hide in one of the bedrooms. So we'll see. If you like the episode, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below. Tell me what you're working on. I love to connect with you. Connect with me on Instagram at the Cozy Cottage Crochet. Email me at cozycottage@gmail.com if you have any questions. If you'd like to be kept up to date on any new episodes, please just hit the subscribe button. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks.